You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Looking forward to our second house call of the weekend. More amazing questions coming in from our community. Hopefully you got a chance to tune in yesterday where we answered somewhere around 8 to 10 questions from the community, all things wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, some mindset in there, some motivation inserted in there, and all sorts of things in between. I love being able to try to do what I can to answer our community's questions and all things, like I said, going back to how we can heal the body from the inside out. So today we're certainly going to be talking about more of these underlying root cause reasons holding people back from uncovering what the true imbalances are in their body. I honestly believe is if you can discover the true imbalances, now you know what to work on. That's one of the reasons why people aren't successful in losing the weight or healing their body. And of course, that also means then living longer. And the reason is they just don't know what to even work on. And if you don't know what to work on, you're really you're grabbing at things in the dark. And sometimes you get it right. You do, but it's by chance. So what we're going to do is we're trying to point people in the right direction today. Really excited to get started. So without further ado, let's get to our first question from Cara. Now, before I start, I do want to let you know that all the show notes for today's show will be available today at stephencabral.com/611 or 611. So what does that mean? Well, if you go to stephencabral.com/611, you will see all of the labs I might recommend, all of the nutritional supplements, all of the previous podcasts, everything I talked about today, as well as all of the questions in depth, just in case I can't read the entire question. If it's a long one, will be available at that page. So you can go there right now and follow along, or just feel free to tune into that page if you need any specific links. Okay, first question is from Cara. Cara is asking, hello, Dr. Cabral. As always, thank you for your commitment to help as many people as you can. This is for a dear friend of mine. My friend is 48 years old with a litany of ailments: Hashimotos, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, infrequent bowel movements. She's been on antibiotics from birth to 12 years old. Metal in hand from an old injury. No medication since 2006 other than Armour. And for those who don't know, Armour is a natural form of a thyroid used to speed up the thyroid, or actually just give the thyroid a little bit more of a boost. So she'll be without insurance, and she is getting misreadings on her thyroid numbers from her doctors. And when she comes off Armour, she doesn't know how to get this prescribed while she finds out the root cause. What tests or protocols do you recommend? She is desperate and the type of person who helps everyone but herself. In gratitude, Cara. Okay, Cara, let's help you out. So, a couple things. First things first, you should be able to find at least one doctor in your local community who's willing to prescribe this compounded thyroid-based medication called Armour. And you can even find some places online. So that just going to take a little bit more digging, but you'll be able to do that. There's no doubt about it. My highest recommendation is to run the organic acids test to look at why not just her thyroid is off, because her thyroid, she has lupus and she has rheumatoid arthritis as well, right? So if she has a litany, like you said, of ailments, most of them being some type of autoimmune-based issue, we need to figure out where that is coming from. Is it viral-based? Is it heavy metal-based, like you said? Or is this some type of gut-based dysfunction? And if it is, we need to figure out what that is. So, of course, my recommendation is to run that organic acids test to check out the gut, and I would run the hair tissue mineral analysis to look at elevated heavy metals. Now, after that, you have your choice of whether you want to run the complete thyroid panel, which is all of your thyroid numbers, T4, T3, all of those good ones, as well as selenium, iodine, and then the heavy metals that you don't want, such as aluminum, mercury, and then looking at bromines and arsenic. So that's a great one to run. Or you could run the thyroid, adrenal, and other hormone panel too. So what would I recommend for your friend? Right now I'm leaning towards the organic acids test, the hair tissue mineral analysis, and then the thyroid adrenal hormone test. I'll link those up in the show notes. Let's say your friend can't afford these, and that's a possibility. Well, if she can't afford them, we totally understand. What we'd certainly recommend is then at least completing the heavy metal detox, the candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol. Okay, we'll give you all the nutritional supplements, we'll give you all the foods, everything that you need. And then what I would recommend from there as well is taking the daily thyroid support in addition to her Armour-based compounded medication. So hopefully that gets you started. That is absolutely what I would do. And like I said, hopefully that points you in the right direction. Chelsea's up next. She writes in, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge with us. I recently started listening to your podcast and can't get enough. I have 2 questions for you. First, I had surgery about 8 months ago, breast augmentation. I'm wondering if there's anything you recommend for scarring. Second, I'm a relatively thin woman, work out regularly, but I've been noticing some slight weight gain in my face and my chin. This may be genetic because a lot of women in my family have double chins. Is there anything I can do to slim down in this area? Thank you in advance." Okay, so great questions. The scarring we recommend, so I've done actually shows on this before. So what I will do is I will just see if I can link up those shows for how to get rid of scarring. Essentially, we're using essential oils, we're using black cumin oil, we're using carrot seed oil, we're using a lot of these great oils as well to help with that, but we're also internally using more vitamin C, more glutamine, more zinc, because we want to help with the tissue repair. So you'll hear me actually repeat those 3 quite often, and the reason is that those are some of the best things to repair. You can even just take what's called healthy gut support. It has the glutamine, it has the zinc right in it, in addition to a little extra vitamin C. But again, I always take things back to the basics. If you're doing your daily nutritional support powder every single day, you're getting the amino acids that you need, you're getting your zinc, you're getting your glutamine, you're getting your, what else did I just mention? Your vitamin C, 500 milligrams in that. So you're really getting so much with that. And again, I can't recommend that enough. Now, the episode on scarring, let me see if I can find that. Looks like I'm going to have to, because there's so many shows on it that, again, like you can go to stephencabral.com/podcast and type in scarring. You'll be able to see it. I know 386 is one of those pages. So why don't I put that in? We can certainly look up others as well. So now do keep in mind as well, let's talk about the double chins. Okay. Double chins, yes, genetic, of course. So, okay, some people's families are more prone to getting that accumulation under the chin, but I do want you to know we're looking at inflammation. Okay. So food sensitivities, inflammation in general from poor eating, too much stress, those types of things. But we also want to look at thyroid function. So I'd love to know if the women in your family have a lower thyroid function, a hypothyroid function. So maybe not Hashimoto's and maybe not even like a really poor TSH, but what if it's subprime? Like what if it's not at its best? So this is how I would look at it. You can even just run your regular blood work with your MD or PCP first. When you look at TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, it's the first place to start. So let's just say, well, look at your number. Is it between 0.5 and 2.5? And if it's a 3, well, it's starting to become hypo. It's starting to become lower thyroid. And again, it doesn't mean that you have any thyroid disease. It just means your thyroid's not optimal. So at that point, you could simply probably use daily thyroid support, and that's all you would most likely need, in addition to, again, your daily nutritional support. And of course, I would add in the whole Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol, which is my shake, the greens powder, the 22 organic fruits and vegetables, just for natural detoxification from whole food, and the probiotic. That's exactly what I would do. And then I would use the high antioxidant natural oils, such as the carrot seed oil, the black cumin, any one of those, the red raspberry leaf, any one of those type of high vitamin C, high antioxidant oils to help with the scarring. Okay, vitamin E also helps as well, just to let you know. But why don't you type in scarring into the podcast page, and I'll also link up some in my notes as well. Amanda's up next. Hello, I have a question about your products. I feel as though I'm nutrient deficient, but I can only get one of your products. Would you recommend the daily nutritional support or the activated multi in my case? Thanks. Okay, Amanda, thank you for writing in. Really easy question for me to answer for you. The daily activated multi is basically the same thing as the daily nutritional support, except with the daily nutritional support powder, you're getting more of everything. So you're getting a full B vitamin in there, okay? And you're also getting 15 grams of a vegan protein, which is made from organic pea and organic rice. And keep in mind, it's the protein. So even if you're paleo, you're getting it from the protein, not from the starches, the carbs. So Anyway, I don't know how you feel about that. If you're staunch one thing, and again, you know my opinion about that is like, be careful swinging in one direction too far, because there's no point in life about being so dogmatic about any one thing, because if you get that stuck on one particular path, you may miss out on all the, the beautiful benefits of Ayurvedic, of traditional Chinese medicine, of functional medicine, of naturopathic medicine, of, allopathic medicine. Like, you have to be able to be adaptable and flexible and do what's best for your body. So I recommend the daily nutritional support powder. The only people who, you can use it for breakfast, or you can use it after your workout, however you want to do it, mid-afternoon. Just do it once a day. But if you're like, I can't do smoothies for whatever reason, well, then do the daily activated multivitamin. Really simple. You'll get all of your nutrition right there. And if that's the only one you can do, then great, do that. If you can do a second one, then you'll do the daily fruit and vegetable blend, which is, in my opinion, the best of whole food, because you get 22 organic fruits and vegetables with a daily fruit and vegetable blend. And then you get all of your multivitamins, all of your minerals from real chelated forms. Like, this is not a CVS Rite Aid pharmacy brand. Like, this is legitimate functional medicine. Your body can absorb it. Antioxidants, daily detox support, all the great things. I mean, again, there's a reason why I made this. I use it myself every day, okay? So that is absolutely what I would recommend. All right. Anonymous is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. What would be the main reason for skin to take so long to heal? Whether it be from acne, mosquito bites, scar, bruising, etc. I find any hormonal acne marks I get to take months to disappear. So by the time one fades, I'm trying to get rid of another. I now have some health issues, candida, hypothyroid, that I'm trying to resolve. And these may well be part of the reason, but I wondered if there's more reason than this, and if there's something I can do to help it heal much faster. Thanks so much. Okay, so Anonymous, I'm going to do a little bit more follow-up in this. Okay, so the red marks on skin, I know we just got this question just a moment ago as well. Since this does seem to be a topic of interest, let me go into it just a little bit more. Those are called macules, or just, we call them acne scars, but it's not an actual indentation in the face. Sometimes you might get a scar, which you can see a little bit of a divot, I guess that's the best way to say it. And this is different. This is basically a macule or a mark on the face that is taking time to go away. And so I want to explain that the proper way to get rid of this, or at least to speed it up, is to be able to have better nutrients in your body to help with better skin turnover. And then you can actually create some of that skin turnover yourself faster. So let's go through it right now. And we might as well, right? Because this seems to be a popular topic, which I didn't even know that was going to come up on today's show. So from the external, we can look at it this way. We want to be able to exfoliate the skin. And that means kind of just scrub the skin gently with either a lymphatic-based brush, again, gently, or a facial-based brush. They actually make some electric-based ones, which battery-based. It spins, and it can gently exfoliate the face. Or you could do it yourself with a little bit of a facial scrub that might have some walnut hulls in it, or anything a little bit abrasive. Again, not too harsh. You can also use chemical peels, natural chemical peels, which I've talked about before, and that's the French green clay or bentonite clay mixed with a little bit of apple cider vinegar to make a little bit of a mud or a mask. Again, if you've never done this before, only test a nickel-size spot on your face, because you could be someone who has fair skin and reacts just too much, that your skin turns red for a day, and you don't, of course, want that. It's not really harmful, but your skin might be irritated. So you just try one nickel size, you keep it on there for 15, 20 minutes, and then you just take it off with a warm washcloth. So if that works, you could do a whole natural chemical peel, which would be the natural chemical, again, the apple cider vinegar, and again, the bentonite green clay, the Indian green clay, which is really nice. That's the name of the brand. Or you can use the French green clay, which is really nice as well. So we'll try to link those up. Again, I've done previous podcasts as well. So the other thing that I want to talk about is after you do those exfoliation and the clay mask, that you can then use, and I spoke about this before, this is really important. The reason we know vitamin A or retinol A, those types of things work is that vitamin A truly does help with the skin. It's a powerful antioxidant as well. I prefer to get it naturally, and what I'd highly recommend is you do the same. So I like carrot seed oil, and I also like red raspberry seed oil. Okay, I think I mentioned those previous in today's show. Red raspberry seed oil and also carrot seed oil. Both very high in the vitamin A. They can be used as a natural sunscreen. So that can be a good idea too if you're going to be out in the sun and you have these red marks on your face, that you might want to use that natural sunscreen on them too. My episode 546, stephencabral.com/546. That's going to have my natural skincare or sunscreen recipe. You can check that out as well. And then what can we do internally? Well, we need the same nutrients internally. We need the glutamine I talked about, the vitamin C I talked about, the zinc I talked about, and whatever we can do to reduce inflammation. So, of course, my recommendation is the Dr. Ball Daily Nutritional Support Powder, along with, the whole Dr. Ball Daily Protocol. I mean, that's the thing. For under $5 a day, the same cost as a cup of coffee at a Starbucks or a place like that, you're going to get every vitamin and mineral you need that your body needs, your antioxidants. You're going to get 22 organic fruits and vegetables, and you're going to get 50 billion live, hypoallergenic, dairy-free probiotics. So you're getting 3 vegan-based products that are going to be healthy for your entire body, and they give your body everything that it needs. That's what I would do. I mean, really, that's what I would do. And of course, that's what I recommend. All right, Josie's up next. Josie's asking, hello, I'm an adult, 33-year-old female with acne on the back, shoulders and neck before every period. Every time it finally clears up, it is back again. I've also struggled with acne my entire life. It is seeming to be ruining my life. Could this be due to PCOS or parasites? Is there a way to test for both in one test? Would CBD oil help? Any other help with this would be fantastic. Thanks a bunch. Josie, first of all, I want to thank you because you just jogged my memory. CBD oil on the skin is also fantastic for clearing up skin rashes in a lot of people, as well as red acne marks. So again, one more reason that CBD oil can be super helpful. What I'll do today is link up, not only will I link up CBD oil in the show notes, I will link up the trial bottle as well, but I will link up the podcast on CBD oil. So we'll do that. So now I'm just making my notes, CBD oil, podcast, and link. Okay, great. So now let's answer your question, since you helped me out with a tip right there. So PCOS, which we're looking at for women who would typically have maybe higher levels of blood sugar or insulin resistance, maybe higher levels of testosterone, but certainly estrogen dominance. And when would this kick in? Well, just like you said, right before or 5 days before or up to 7 days before a woman gets her period or day 1 of menstruation. Okay. Then it starts to clear up, right? Because you're basically lower estrogen, lower progesterone. Estrogen start to climb normally during that follicular phase, and then it's going to start to drop around day 15 or so, and then it will kick back up. So what we're looking at, though, is, yes, it could be potentially parasites. So you're right. I mean, you're right on both of these. Potentially parasites, potentially PCOS. If I had to make a guess right now, an educated guess, I would say you're on the right path with the hormonal imbalance because it clears up certain parts of the month, and then it comes back. So what would I test for first? Well, you're right. I would test for the adrenal hormone test. So what would I do? I would do it literally when your symptoms are worse, about 5 days or so before you get your period. And that would show me if you have estrogen dominance. And so I would be able to help you with that, of course. So the lab comes into my office, I review it, and then you do a coaching call, 30-minute coaching call with my health coach who will give you the recommendations. So that's what I recommend. Now, a stool test is what you do to check for parasites. In my opinion, we run the best stool test because, again, we can choose any stool test in the world. We don't have any affiliation with Biomatrix. We could choose any stool test we like. We like this one because they don't try to be everything to everyone. They do one thing really well. They test for H. pylori and they test for parasites and ova. Like, that's what we want to check. We check for that. Really, really great. Now, let's say you can't afford the lab test. You want to do that. Well, what would I do? I would probably start right in with the DIM product. So we'll link that up in the show notes as well. And I would do a 21-day Dr. Ball detox. So you can certainly do that, see if it starts to clear up, see if it starts to re-regulate hormones because you're lowering inflammation, you're balancing out blood sugar. You can certainly try that. But of course, you know that I love to test because you're no longer guessing. You're seeing exactly what's wrong, and then you're getting right into the process. So, of course, those are always possibilities. Hopefully that helps. Okay, Steph is up next. She may be our last question. Let's check it out. Thank you in advance for all you do for the past 6 months, maybe more. My left shoulder has been bothering me, and it is only getting worse. I sometimes wake up on my left side, and then it takes a couple hours before it seems to get loosened up for the day. It cracks more than the other right shoulder when moving it, and it seems to be using it less naturally. I can't really do push-ups anymore or even 5-pound weight shoulder exercises. It is a dull pain. I've been able to live with it, but now I'm afraid if I don't do anything, it will get worse. I'm a healthy, thin, fit female who enjoys working out. What can I do? What could be causing this? I don't remember any particular injury. Always light workouts, push-ups, yoga. Okay, great. I'm happy to help with this. Enjoy answering exercise-based questions. So we've got a couple big things. This can be it. if you are sleeping on that left shoulder and you have the left shoulder extended, which means the shoulder is no longer under your chest, but actually in front of your chest, then you are rounding out the posterior base chain muscles. You're overstretching it, and you're tightening the pectoral muscles in the front, which is the anterior deltoid and the pectoral major and minor right in the front of the chest. That can lead to imbalances. Now, by doing push-ups and a lot of anterior chain base work, which means front of the body base work, biceps, chest work, those types of things, and not enough rows, not enough reverse flies, not enough posterior chain base work, you can actually make it worse. So it's called internal rotation of the shoulders. So what are my recommendations? Okay, my highest recommendation is that you see a muscular therapist, an active release technique, an ART-based chiropractor, or an ART-based practitioner, or a functional range of motion-based conditioning specialist. They have so many, always different names for all of this stuff, right? But I just heard about this the other day, a different name, functional range of motion conditioning specialist, something along those lines. Because what's happening right now is simply that your shoulder, your rotator cuff is out of position, and that glenohumeral joint is just really susceptible. It's more susceptible than any other joint in your body because it's barely hanging in there, meaning like your humerus, your joint of that upper arm is just in the shoulder, but not in a socket. It's basically in a little bit of a half cup, and it's held in by ligaments, tendons, and then your muscles themselves. So really what I found to help people through this is foam rolling under the armpit, the lat, the internal rotators, such as the teres muscles, the spinatuses, all of the spinatuses, infraspinatus, supraspinatus, and then opening up your chest muscles on the front, opening up your neck muscles. So I'd foam roll the chest, I'd foam roll under the armpit. Then I would start doing rotator cuff-based strengthening exercises. I would start working on opening up my internal, external rotation. If none of this is making any sense to you, like this is literally like listening to a foreign language, then my highest recommendation is that you find someone that this isn't a foreign language to, right? That this is what they do. Because I had this issue many years ago, and I was probably around 22, 23 years old. And I got fixed of what you're talking about right now is doing heavy weight training, like bodybuilding type work. And I was sleeping on that shoulder with my arm extended. And that wasn't just sleeping, didn't do it, but that was exacerbating it. Again, I'm just a student. I really am a student. I love life. I love learning all of these things, and I'm interested. I'm just curious about a lot of things. This is my field, of course. I'm not curious in everything, but everything health and fitness I am. So I learned from great chiropractors that were kind of ahead of their time 15 years ago or so. And so that's what I did. And so I learned about this, and this is what works. I was fixed in 3 weeks. And that was the great thing. I go back to my, my barbell presses and all that stuff that I wanted to do, which now I don't do as much anymore. But again, all of this can be fixed, and you just have to go to see a specialist who's going to be able to help you strengthen the posterior chain, which is the back of your body, open up the anterior chain, meaning like loosen it so that the posterior chain, the postural muscles can pull back, and then try not to sleep on the left side. Try to sleep on your right side. Now, what if you say, well, I always roll onto my left side? Well, you want to be able to sleep on your left side, of course. But for now, while you're letting that left side heal, you might want to tape a little golf ball to your left shoulder. So every time you roll over it, your body's like, oh, that doesn't feel comfortable. And it rolls back to the other side. We get people to do that who sleep on their back a lot. We put a little golf, if they have sleep apnea, we're helping them out in the beginning. They tape a little golf ball to their t-shirt or something as they're going to bed, and they can't lie on their back. So just little tricks like that. And of course, this isn't for the rest of your life. It's while you're healing a certain part of the body. Remember, just in general, things that I give people, of course, good quality nutritional supplements such as an activated multivitamin, the daily nutritional support powder, the daily fruit and vegetable blend, which is like a greens powder. All of these things are great for almost every human alive. But a lot of the recommendations I give people, such as following protocols, following diet plans, following the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, they're for a finite period of time. I believe most people can heal their body within 12 to 16 weeks. If they really dedicate themselves to it, I believe that everyone can lose essentially all the weight that they need to lose within about 12 to 16 weeks. If it's within 30 pounds, if it's more than that, of course, it will take a little bit longer, but that's okay. You'll lose 5 to 10 pounds a month minimum, and then you'll just keep working the process. And also what I believe is that the body can heal in about that time as well. And then again, look at all the injuries, look at everything. About 12 weeks to 16 weeks, you should be completely healed. Now, some people might need a little bit longer, but at least they'll be symptom-free for the most part. meaning autoimmune disease, whatever it is, within about 12 to 16 weeks. And I truly believe that if you simply begin, again, I understand lab testing isn't for everyone, but what I want you to do is I want you to start moving forward at least to what you believe you need to work on if you're not willing to lab test. And of course, I'm always happy to answer these questions, point you in the right direction as well. We offer a free online support group at cabralsupportgroup.com, which is simply a Facebook group page for positive people who are looking to change their health, change their body, change their life, live it with passion, live it with purpose, and really just start to enjoy their days, not being so caught up with the pain and the suffering that so many of us get into. And again, I've been there myself. I understand that it's frustrating. I want to help in any way that I can. You just reach out to me. Let me know how I can help. I'd be happy to do that. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into another Cabral Concept. Appreciate each and every one of your listens, and be sure to tune back tomorrow for our Mindset and Motivation Monday. We've got a great show for you. Hope you had a great weekend. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.